Video games are art. And not only that, they are the most effective art form when it comes to conveying complex themes and making the audience feel the emotions that the artist intended. Now I know what you're thinking. How is slicing a Hell Knight in Doom or gunning down a 13-year-old in Rainbow Six or Call of Duty art? And to that, I have to say that technically drawing is art, but a doodle I just drew is not, in the same way that some games might be fun but don't have a deeper artistic sense. When you look up what art is in a dictionary, you get this. Something that is created with imagination and skill, and that is beautiful or that expresses important ideas or feelings. Under this definition, you can either subjectively argue over a game's beauty or its ability to express important ideas or feelings. This is something games have done time and time again, but when it comes to games, a lot of the time in mainstream media, only the really big games get talked about. Games that scare parents into thinking they'll cause their kids to become violent. Either that or games that seem too simple to be considered more than just a waste of time. The games that oftentimes don't get a lot of coverage, the games that you might not have heard of unless it's a hobby of yours, are often those that are the most artistic and can really move the player in a way that a game like Grand Theft Auto or Mario just won't. When you're looking at a painting or you're watching a movie, you have a more passive experience. As the artist, you are presenting your work in hopes that it is received in the way that you intended, that it provokes the viewer to feel the emotions you want them to feel. But when you're playing a game, you're there. If the game is effective, you are there with the character because you take control of them. In a sense, for those few hours, you are the character. In this pastel drawing by Gail Sibley, you can see how the different brush strokes evoke different emotions that come with grief. There are more rigid, anger-filled scribbles and longer, sadder swooshes. You can see and even feel how she must have felt while drawing this. The same can be said in a game like Gris. From the very moment you start the game, you can sense this saddened atmosphere. Every moment in this game is filled with symbolism, and that extends to the different abilities and levels in the game. Everything from the music to the way that you control the character sets this heavy tone, and the player is filled with this sorrow. At the start of the game, Gris is hardly able to walk, with the slightest wind knocking her over. She then gets the ability to become a block, cementing herself to the ground. At this point, she feels anger, and this block ability is her way of protecting herself from the world. The levels all represent the 5 stages commonly associated with grief, and as you progress through the story, you start to accept the death of the character's mother and rebuild yourself. With every stage you beat, the world fills with more color. It fills you and Gris with hope, and you're able to reach acceptance alongside her. This sort of 3-hour experience wouldn't work in any other format. You wouldn't be able to feel the same emotions if you hadn't controlled Gris and grew alongside her. Not every game is going to be a masterpiece, but it's games like Gris that bring the player along on an emotional journey, that are crafted with so much feeling and care, that are truly art at its finest.